People always talk about the moment they snapped. Mine was quiet. Calculated. It didn't come with yelling or slamming doors. It came with a smile and a phone call that changed someone's life forever. I keep wondering if that makes me a survivor, or something much darker. Her best friend decided to audition for most disrespectful dinner guest right in my dining room. He looked at me, at my table, with my food, holding a glass from my cabinet, and said, smooth as butter, she could do way better than you. I didn't throw the glass. I didn't stand up or slam a fist. I just shut him down. In front of everyone. And when Anna hissed, apologize or we're over, I smiled, calm, polite, absolutely finished. I didn't say another word that night. Weeks later, when she finally came home ready to talk, she learned what done actually looks like. But let me back up. For 3 years, life with Anna felt like air after a long day in court, quiet, cool, steadying. I'm a lawyer, spending daylight hours wading through the worst versions of people will drain a person dry. Coming home to Anna was the opposite. She's a paralegal, sharp, fast, ambitious, with that spark in her eyes whenever law school came up. One day, she'd say, tapping her notebook like it was a starter pistol. I loved that about her. We weren't just sharing a roof, we were building something. I'd spent years restoring this house, stripping paint, fixing trim, filling in 1,000 tiny imperfections nobody but me would notice. It was ours. Solid. Real. I wasn't paying rent for a long-term sleepover, I was investing in my future wife. And yet, there was this low buzz under everything, like a fluorescent light that never quite shuts off. The buzz had a name, Leo. Leo was her best friend from college, the ride or die, the guardian of her free spirit. Graphic designer. Artist. The kind of guy who treats 9 to 5 like a prison sentence while taking contract work designing taco menus to keep the lights on. If you asked Anna, he was her platonic soulmate. If you asked me, he was a barnacle with opinions. And his favorite hobby? Undercutting me while pretending to adore our relationship. A professional at it, actually. He never threw a punch you could point to. No, it was always these delicate little needle pricks wrapped in compliments. His greatest hits were always about her ex, Alex, yes, that Alex, the musician who smashed her heart like a dropped wine glass. Leo would bring him up the way some people mention the weather. If I planned a trip to Mexico, Leo would drift into the conversation with, remember that spontaneous camping trip we did that one time, Anna? You can't plan stuff like that. You have to be with someone who gets your rhythm. Smile. Sip. Casual shrug, like he wasn't aiming right at my chest. Message received. According to Leo, I was the safe harbor while he embodied the storm, exciting, dangerous, alive. And Anna, well, she ate up the protective friend narrative. Anytime I gently suggested a boundary, she bristled. He's just being Leo. He was there for me when Alex wrecked me. He's family, Jack. I'm patient, have to be. In my world, the first story's rarely the true one. You let people talk. You give them room. Eventually, they hand you the rope all by themselves. I waited for Leo to hand me the rope. He did. A month ago. I'd just finished the biggest case of my career. 6 months of brutal prep. Trial binders multiplying like rabbits, weekends eaten whole by depositions, sleep traded for strategy memos. We won. The kind of win that rings your ears and makes the partners suddenly say your first name like it's always tasted good. I wanted to celebrate, not splashy, just ours. So I threw a dinner at the house. My closest friends were there, the ones who'd barely seen me in daylight for half a year. Because I was trying to be a decent man, I told Anna to invite her circle. Which meant Leo. The night started like a photograph I wanted to frame. House humming, laughter threading through the hall. The good bottle came out, the one I'd saved for a day that felt like breathing after drowning. Music low, candles soft, food actually hot at the same time, a personal miracle. For the first time in months, my shoulders dropped away from my ears. Leo swanned in late, of course. Coat over his shoulder like he'd just left a runway, performing casual. He circled the room, shaking hands with my friends like he co-founded the place. Then he found the wine and settled into a corner of the table like a cat in a warm sunspot. You could feel it, he was gearing up. A couple glasses in, he launched into a long monologue about an art exhibit downtown, color theory, negative space, all of that, except the exhibit was just a vehicle for his favorite theme, creators versus suits. It's a way of seeing, he said, giving me this lazy, pointed smile. Some of us are driven by passion, by art. Others are pragmatic. He let the word hang, then took a slow drink from my glass. My friends, who've watched me bleed for this house and this woman, looked at him like milk gone bad. I kept a polite half smile. Refused to bite. You don't tackle a clown for juggling knives, you wait until he cuts himself. But Leo wasn't satisfied. He shifted to his concerned friend tone and turned to Anna. I just hope you're happy, he said, syrupy sweet. Jack's a great guy. He's stable. He's a provider. He's reliable. He said reliable the way people say plague. Then he looked at me, really looked, and smirked. But you've got to admit, she could do way better than you. The room froze. Honest to God, I heard a fork kiss a plate 3 seats down. My friends went statue still. You could see the thought cross their faces. Do we keep him from getting thrown out a window, or do we help? Anna stared at her plate, a blush rising. Not anger, embarrassment. Not at him, at the scene. And in that silence, something in me clicked into perfect focus. The gracious host stepped out. The part of me that tolerates nonsense so the night can stay pretty? Gone. What stood up in his place was the version of me that lives at counsel's table, cold, controlled, surgical. The prosecutor walked to the podium in my mind and adjusted the mic. I set down my utensils carefully, no clatter, just precision. Folded my hands. Met his eyes. That's a bold claim, Leo, I said softly. My voice didn't rise, it dropped. I'm curious how you reached it. He blinked. He'd expected either a brawl or a joke. He'd prepared for noise. He wasn't prepared for process. In your expert opinion, I continued, what does a better man for Anna look like? Let's be specific. Lay out your criteria. He opened and closed his mouth once. Twice. He started, and there it was, the sound of a man stepping into quicksand. Someone more on her level. A creative. Someone who gets her. I nodded, like I was taking notes. So the primary qualification is being a creative. I tilted my head. And I assume you see yourself as the model for that. I think I understand her better than anyone, he said, puffing up. Perfect. I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. So, you're the gold standard. Let's examine the gold. I leaned back, slow and steady, the way you do when you're giving someone enough rope to choose whether they want to coil it or wear it like a scarf. Because while vibes are fun, I said, we can also talk about metrics. A couple of my friends coughed, laughter dying on the way out. Leo shifted in his chair. He shot a look at Anna, as if she could throw him a life preserver with her eyes. She didn't. She just stared at the tablecloth. Here's a thought experiment, I said, as gently as if I were explaining fractions to a bright kid. If two people say they love Anna, and one of them claims he gets her soul and the other claims he builds with her, how do we measure the difference? We could use inputs, outputs, risk, return. I tapped the table once, like a judge calling order. We could talk vision. But we should also talk receipts. Leo laughed, too loud for the space, a little panicky around the edges. Man, this isn't a board meeting. No, I said. This is my home. That shut him up. Let's start with the simple stuff, I continued, voice even. Support isn't poetry, it's a ledger. Who shows up when it costs something? Who moved couches? Who filed paperwork when deadlines were ugly? Who gets up early, stays up late, brings soup, pays fees, fixes roofs, watches dogs, buys tires, emails professors? Who stands in line with her when the registrar closes 5 minutes early and it starts raining? I spread my hands. Not vibes. Investment. His lips parted, but nothing came out. Because I have mine documented, I said, and my friends, bless them, didn't say a word, didn't breathe too loud. Not to keep score, I added, but because building a life is the kind of thing you're supposed to notice. You remember it because it matters. He flinched, just barely. Maybe he remembered the time he left Anna stranded after promising a ride. Maybe he remembered the week he borrowed, just a little, for a can't-miss design project and turned off his phone for 3 days. I didn't say any of it. I didn't have to. The table did the math all by itself. I let the pause stretch long enough for him to feel it. Long enough for Anna to hear it. Now, I said softly, placing my palms flat on the table as if I were about to lay out exhibits for the jury, let's take your thesis and put it under a light. You say the better man is the creative one. The one who understands her. Got it. I straightened one napkin corner that wasn't crooked. So let's talk about something you can't vibe your way through. I lifted my eyes to his and held them there. Let's talk about investment. And that's where I asked my first real question, the one that would turn the entire night on its axis. I leaned forward slightly, resting my forearms on the table, and let my voice drop to something quieter, calmer. The kind of calm that makes everyone else lean in without even realizing it. As everyone here knows, I began, keeping my eyes locked on Leo. Anna's in her second year at one of the best law schools in the country. And as you might imagine, programs like that don't come cheap. My fingers tapped the edge of my glass once, just once. I'm paying for that. All of it. And it's not just a pile of tuition checks. It's trust. It's me saying, I believe in her, in us, in our future. The room seemed to tighten, like the air itself had drawn a breath. So my question for you, Leo, since you've decided to crown yourself the better man, what exactly have you invested in her future? I tilted my head. Other than your endlessly negative running commentary about me. Leo's face went pale. You could see the exact second the fight drained out of him. Anna's eyes widened in alarm. Jack, don't do this, she whispered. But I didn't look at her. I just raised a hand, a small, deliberate gesture, and kept my gaze pinned on him. I'm not done, I said softly. Let's talk about her car. The one she drives every day to campus. It's safe, reliable, and I bought it for her. Now, you've got your little convertible, right? The one that's broken down more than it's run these past 6 months. I let a wry smile curl at the corner of my mouth. Funny how every time it needs fixing, she loans you money. And that money, let's be clear, comes out of the joint account I fund entirely. A low snort escaped from somewhere down the table, one of my friends choking on a laugh he tried to turn into a cough. I leaned back slightly, just enough to give the next word some space. So, Leo, in a very real sense, not only am I paying for Anna's future, I'm also subsidizing your little hipster mobile. You're welcome. Leo's face looked like someone had taken a bat to it, shocked, humiliated, silent. His smirk was gone. Completely gone. Now, I continued, letting my voice soften into something almost conversational. Let's move on to something closer to home. Literally. I gestured toward the ceiling. This house. The roof over her head. I own it. I pay the mortgage. I fix what breaks. Meanwhile, you have been late on rent so often she's had to cover for you, again, with my money. So let's summarize, shall we? For the table. I spread my hands like I was addressing a jury. Your position is that the man who provides a stable home, a safe car, and a fully funded top-tier education is somehow not good enough for her. And the better man? I tilted my head toward him. That's you. A man who drains her resources, who lives off her kindness, and tries to wreck her relationship from the inside out like a parasite wearing a best friend mask. Is that a fair and accurate statement of your position, Leo? The room went silent. Dead silent. Not the kind of silence that's peaceful, this was courtroom silence. Verdict silence. Leo sat there like someone had cut the strings holding him up. No quips, no smirk, nothing. Just a man gutted in real time. My friends stared at him like they were watching a guilty man on the stand. And Anna. Anna was trembling. The storm on her face wasn't confusion anymore. It wasn't embarrassment. It was rage. She shot out of her chair so fast it screeched against the floor. I cannot believe you just did that, she spat, shaking. You humiliated him in front of everyone. He humiliated himself, Anna, I said quietly. I just presented the evidence. Apologize to him, she demanded, pointing a shaking finger at me like a prosecutor trying to force a confession. Right now. Apologize to my best friend for what you just did. Apologize or we are over. And there it was. The ultimatum. The final nail in the coffin she'd built with her own hands. She was standing beside a man who'd just been exposed as a manipulative, jealous parasite, and she was choosing him. Not me. Him. Something in me shifted. The love I felt for her didn't just dim. It died clean, fast. Like someone flipping a switch. I didn't get angry. I didn't raise my voice. I just smiled. Small. Final. The kind of smile you give when a case is already decided. I stood, picked up my wine glass, and walked out of the room without saying another word. The case was closed. The verdict was in. The fallout was immediate. She left with Leo that night, storming out together in a cloud of self-righteous drama. In her mind, she'd made a grand statement. She probably expected me to chase her. To apologize. To beg. But she didn't understand, I wasn't negotiating anymore. I'd accepted the verdict she delivered. For 2 weeks, I vanished. No calls. No replies. Her messages went from furious to confused to desperate, and I didn't answer a single one. I ignored the friends she sent as go-betweens. She was shouting into a courtroom that had already been adjourned. Instead, I got to work. Our house, my house, felt less like a home and more like a crime scene. So I did what any meticulous lawyer does, I cleared it methodically. Box by box, drawer by drawer, every single thing she owned was packed. No yelling. No bitterness. Just quiet precision. When I was done, the boxes were stacked in the spare room like evidence ready to be picked up. I changed the locks. Reset the codes. Closed the file. Then I made 2 phone calls. They weren't pleasant, but they were necessary. They were the natural consequences of a choice she made, loud and clear, at that dinner table. And just like that, everything we'd built together turned into a closed case file. A chapter stamped, final. The first call was clinical. Cold. Final. I dialed the number for the dean of admissions at Anna's law school, a man who knew me well through alumni events, dinners, and scholarship work. When he picked up, I kept my voice even, professional. No anger. No tremor. Dean, I'm calling to inform you that due to a permanent change in my personal circumstances, I said, the private scholarship fund I set up for Anna's tuition will be dissolved, effective immediately. No drama. No explanation beyond what was necessary. He understood. He didn't press. That was the end of that. The second call hit a little harder, not emotionally, but in its weight. The managing partner at my firm owed me a favor. I had pulled strings to get Anna an internship there, one of those internships. The kind that changes lives. The kind that sets the trajectory of a legal career before the ink on the diploma dries. I took a breath and said, a serious and irreconcilable personal conflict of interest has arisen. The offer to Anna needs to be rescinded. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. Because it wasn't about revenge. It was about the foundation of trust that she'd reduced to rubble. My support for her wasn't some random act of generosity, it was a promise tied to a shared future. She'd shattered that future with her own hands. And so, she no longer had a place in my home. Exactly 2 weeks after that dinner, the doorbell rang. I'd been expecting it, not the exact day, maybe, but eventually. I watched through the security camera as she approached the door, fumbling with her old key. The way her brow furrowed when it didn't work almost made me feel something. Almost. Confusion turned to irritation, then to something closer to fear. She rang the bell. I cracked the door open, leaving the security chain in place. She looked wrecked. No fiery comebacks, no righteous fury. Just exhaustion. Her clothes were wrinkled, her hair unbrushed, her eyes hollow. Living with Leo, the free spirit, clearly wasn't the bohemian love story she'd built up in her head. Jack, she breathed. We need to talk. I shook my head. No, Anna. We don't. Her lips parted, but nothing came out for a second. You can't just throw away 3 years over one fight, she pleaded, her voice shaking. Tears welled up at the edges. It wasn't a fight, I said, calm as stone. It was a moment of truth. You stood in my house, next to a man who spent years trying to undermine our relationship, and you gave me an ultimatum. Him or me. And you chose him. I let the silence hang just long enough for the words to land. She blinked rapidly, the panic starting to crack through her bravado. But everything we planned, she stammered. Law school. The internship. Yeah, I said softly, about that. Her breath hitched. I didn't rush. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd thrown away. The tuition for your final semester is due next week, isn't it? I asked, my voice almost gentle. I hope you and Leo have a solid plan. Because my investment in our future has been terminated. Her face drained of color so fast it was like someone flipped a switch. What? She whispered, the word small and brittle. And the internship, I continued, letting the hammer drop one piece at a time. The firm has rescinded the offer. We take conflicts of interest very seriously. She staggered back like I'd hit her. One hand flew to her mouth, her eyes wide, wet, and trembling. That internship was everything to her. Her golden ticket. The future she'd imagined with absolute certainty. You can't do that, she whispered, voice cracking under the weight of reality. Jack, please. You can't. I already have, I said simply. Actions have consequences, Anna. You drew the line in the sand at that dinner. Apologize or we're over. I chose over. Now you get to live with what comes next. I straightened, met her tear-streaked gaze without blinking. Go ask Leo. The man who's so much better than me. I'm sure his creative genius includes a plan to cover $50,000 in tuition and replace the career you just lost. Then I closed the door. Slowly. Deliberately. On the other side, I could hear her muffled sobbing, broken, desperate. But inside, I felt quiet. No fire, no triumph, no bitterness. Just stillness. The trial was over. The verdict had been delivered, the aftermath unfolded exactly the way anyone with half a brain could have predicted. Anna's world didn't just crack, it crumbled. One quiet, brutal piece at a time. She was only a few months away from graduation. So close to holding that law degree she dreamed about, talked about, built her identity around. And just like that, it was gone. She had to withdraw from the program. The funding was gone. The future was gone. The dream was dead. She and Leo? Oh, they're still together, at least, technically. Crammed into that shoebox apartment of his with the leaky faucet and walls thin enough for the neighbors to hear every argument. I didn't have to go digging for details, the whispers came to me. Friends, mutual acquaintances, word gets around. Apparently, it's hell in there. She's drowning in resentment, choking on the realization of what she traded everything for. The internship, the tuition, the house, the future, all gone. And Leo? Well, Leo's getting a front row seat to the consequences of his own ego trip. He won, sure. He got the girl. But what he got was a shattered version of her. The confident, ambitious woman who was sprinting toward her future isn't there anymore. What's left is bitterness. And he can't fix her, not with love, not with money, because he doesn't have either to give. Their little, romantic rebellion turned into a cage they built together. And now they're locked inside. But here's the thing, this was never about revenge for me. I didn't set out to destroy her life. She did that herself when she looked me in the eye and told me to apologize to the man who disrespected me in my own home. To me, a relationship is a contract. Not written on paper, but built in trust. In loyalty. In shared investment. She broke the most fundamental clause, loyalty, and the deal was void the second she did. What I did wasn't punishment. It was enforcement. It was me closing the books, balancing the ledger, and walking away. She wanted to find out what done really means. Now she knows. Done means the support disappears. The investment ends. The man who built the foundation gets up, dusts off his hands, and walks off the site, leaving the wreckage for the arsonists to admire. And she's standing in the ashes, finally realizing, this was never just about winning an argument. It was about losing everything she thought was unshakable.